Okay, this is an ACT problem. Okay, this one says in the standard XY coordinate plane, what is the length of the line segment that has endpoints -3, 4, and 5, -6? So this is just a distance formula problem. They don't straight say find the distance, but that's what type of problem this is. You're not given this formula on the ACT or SAT, so it's one that when you go to take that test you should probably memorize beforehand. Okay, but the distance formula is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, so I would go through and just like with midpoint and slope and all that, I would label your points x, y, x, y. Okay, for the distance formula you might want to label one of them x1, y1 and the other one x2, y2. Okay, and then start plugging in. So for your x's, we have x2 minus x1. So x2 I labeled as 5 minus x1, which is -3. So I'll be in that first set of parentheses, plus y2, which is -6, minus y1, which I labeled as 4. Okay, and of course that's all in the square root house. Okay, now go through in PEMDAS. Here in blue, these two negatives, a negative and a negative, actually make that a positive. So PEMDAS will have you do what's inside the parentheses first. So you're really doing 5 plus 3, which is 8. So we'll have 8 squared there. And then over here in red, inside the parentheses, -6 minus 4 is -10 squared. Okay, and then square everything. PEMDAS tells you to square before you add, so 8 squared, 8 times 8 is 64, so we'll get 64 plus -10 squared is really -10 times -10, which is positive 100. If you're going to use your calculator for this, you have to put these parentheses when you square a negative. Otherwise the calculator will tell you the answer is -100 instead of positive 100, and that's not true. Okay, so then keep PEMDASing. So 64 plus 100 is 164. Okay, and then put that in your calculator and see if it comes out evenly, which it doesn't. Square root of 164 is 12.806 blah 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 blah. So I know it's not F, I know it's not H, and I know it's not K. It has to be G or J. So I have two ways of doing this. You can factor tree. So square root of 164. 164 is divisible by 2. 164 divided by 2 would be 82. Then 82 can be factored by 2. 82 divided by 2 is 41. And then 41 is prime. Okay, in order to come outside of the square root house, you have to have a buddy. If you have a buddy, you can come out and play. If you have no buddy, then you have to stay inside and pout. So these twos can come out and play because they're buddies. This 41 has to stay inside and pout. So your answer would be 2 is on the outside, 41 is on the inside. So the answer is G as in goat. Your other option would be, I knew what this decimal was over here, 12.806. On the ACT, you have the calculator the entire time. On the SAT, there's a calculator and a no calculator section. If this was the no calculator section, you would have to factor tree. But if it's the calculator section or the ACT, then you can just put these two in the calculator and compare the decimals. 20 square root 2 in the calculator is 28.28. So I know it's not J because I need the decimal to be 12.8. If I put in 2 square root 41 in the calculator, I get 12.806, which is what I got square root 164 is. So if you have a calculator, you don't have to factor tree. Just plug them in and check the decimals. Whichever decimal matches is the answer. If you don't have a calculator, then you're going to have to factor tree.